Good morning, and I apologize for many technology problems this morning. We are working on it here, and we will get it fixed, but you are in the correct place. Today is our meditation group, Flourishing During Difficult Times. I always like to begin with a question. In the middle of this pandemic, what would it look like to wake up? Good morning. My name is Father Frank Buckley. I'm the host of our morning practice meditation group. Glad you are here. Sorry about the glitches. I am wide awake trying to get this technology going. If you're new to the program, it's a three-part series. In the beginning, we begin with a little inspiration. In the middle, we do a 20-minute silent meditation. I'll ring the bell to begin and then ring the bell to bring us out of it. And we always end with St. Ignatius, really loved and held close to his heart, is a daily examen. So for this morning's inspiration, I have chosen something very close to my own heart. Is a Jesuit I live with at USF in the Loyola community, Father Dan Kendall, who just died yesterday, and he was a theologian. He spent much of his life researching the work of Anthony DeMello, and even was part of one of the editors of Anthony DeMello's book, Seeking God Everywhere, Reflections on the Spiritual Exercises of St. Ignatius. So I thought I'd use a couple paragraphs from the first chapter of that book to get us started with a little inspiration. Dan was a very gentle soul, lived what he preached. I love living in community with him. My heart is very sad that he died. I will miss him, but I am certain St. Peter was there to greet him at the pearly gate. So, Dan, today's morning meditation is for you. So, I love this little book by Anthony DeMello called Seeking God Everywhere. And the first chapter is titled First Principle and Foundation. And Father DeMello says this: I would like to make some preliminary remarks on silence before we talk of the matter at hand. There's a little phrase from Thomas Merton that I find very beautiful. The world of men has forgotten the joys of silence, the peace of solitude, which is necessary to some extent for the fullness of human living. A few lines later, Merton adds, the human person cannot be happy for long unless they are in contact with the springs of spiritual life which are hidden in the depths of one's own soul. If a person is exiled constantly from their own home, locked out of spiritual solitude, they cease to be a true person. There's only one way for people to confront themselves, and that is through silence. All of us need to develop a tolerance for silence, a home to ourselves, a place to touch the well springs of life inside of us. There is nothing as valuable as silence. Let me read that again. There is nothing as valuable as silence. All of us must go back and be in touch with our inner resources. There is one passage I like very much from the Camaldolese Constitutions that reads, we are frequently cast out from our own hearts as the sea casts out a dead body. This is very vivid and well described. We go into our hearts and are pushed out. We cannot take it. We cannot stay. We cannot be still. Yet, as these constitutions state, the quiet and persevering hermit, to the quiet and persevering hermit, the silence of the cell brings about a blessed sweetness and a refreshing sweetness that tastes of paradise. This can be glorious literature for people who want to escape. Even so, it is difficult to deny the truth of it. Thomas Merton quotes a Syrian monk in his book Contemplative Prayer. If you love truth, be a lover of silence. Silence, like the sunlight, will illuminate you in God and will deliver you from the phantoms of ignorance. In the beginning, we have to force ourselves to be silent. But then there is born something that draws us to silence. If you only practice this, untold light will dawn on you in consequence. After a while, a certain sweetness is born in the heart of the exercise, and the body is drawn almost by force to remain in silence. All the mystics say that once you get acclimated to silence, there is a great sweetness in it. So we're all called to be monks in the world, and none of us want to be sour monks. And we get sweetness, we get this sweetness, DeMello tells us, from silence. So as a community, hopefully you're still with us, gathered from literally all over the globe. We began our mornings during this pandemic with just giving God the first hour of the morning. So I invite you to get ready, find a nice, quiet, serene place in your home where you can sit down or a cushion, whether you're on the street or in a tent. Just find a place to sit down where you can feel safe. Don't worry about technology. Unplug is one of the ways we flourish. I have the timer set for 20 minutes, and I will ring the bell to begin the meditation and then ring the bell to bring us out. I'm going to lower the lights. I invite you to gently close your eyes or 3/4 closed. Take the attention to the breath. God is as close to us as this very air that we breathe. And let's begin and end with the bell. Listen, listen. The sound of the bell returns us to our true home. We only have about a minute left, so for this last minute, I invite you to engage the ancient Tibetan practice of just simply sprinkling a little joy over yourself, your life, and the world. Please continue. Gently bring your attention back to the room. If your eyes were closed, go ahead, open the eyes. You can circle the wrists one way and then the other just to kind of get back into your bodies. And the last third of the morning practice is thank you, St. Ignatius, founder of the Jesuits. We do a little daily examine, just about reflect over the last few days and simply notice, where did I find God, or where might I have missed God? And this morning, I would invite you to just look over the last few days and just notice where you woke up, where you experienced God's love in your everyday, ordinary, humdrum lives. I always tell people when I'm preaching, I feel like the luckiest, most fortunate Jesuit alive because I get to do the work I really love. And in spite of the technology this morning and all the glitches, I can't think of a better way. And I wouldn't have had the opportunity to think about Father Dan Kendall, what a great impact he had on me and all the students at USF. And then I was thinking about him. It brought us to his book, Finding God Everywhere by DeMello. And we got to hear the beautiful words of Father DeMello, of Thomas Merton, the Camaldolese monks, and it all kind of came together around sweetness. And I always try to be as rigorously honest as I can, and many times during meditation, and I've been practicing meditation for many years now, the monkey mind kicks in. The mind just goes from branch to branch to branch. However, every once in a while in meditation, the amazing thing really happens is what those hermits, what those monks, what those mystics are talking about. We really get an opportunity to touch the sweetness of silence. And for me, this morning was one of those mornings. So very grateful to this community. It would never happen without you. I invite you to tell your friends, invite them. I think it's the best community in Hollywood. Tomorrow, I have a really beautiful prayer for our inspiration from, again, a Jesuit who recently died, a big hero of mine, former Father General Adolfo Nicolas. And he wrote this prayer that I have just found out about in his obituary by Father General Sosa wrote about it. And I look forward to sharing it with you tomorrow morning for our inspiration. And I will do better to, big shout out, Pedro, thank you so much. A little call to him got everything working. So Pedro and I will work on this, and hopefully I will be on time and not tardy tomorrow. 3 tardies and you get a detention. All right, have a beautiful rest of the morning. Thanks for joining us. God bless you.